All right, gentlemen, we finally here. We're here today. It's May 18th. Been waiting for this moment for a while to get you all in one room for a very good cause. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge where we are. We are in Real Deal Boxing Gym, the #1 youth boxing gym in the entire country. So that's got to be said. Very special. And one of the key members driving this gym is Coach Gary McNear, a longtime friend of mine, also a recipient of an organ. And so I'm excited to be here with you, Coach Gary, to tell your story. And the person that gave him life, so to speak, or donated life to him is Shane Satterfield. And I'm just meeting Shane today officially, but we've met each other a couple times in passing at Black Coffee Lounge and some other things. So happy to hear more about your story and what you're doing. And you're looking great in the black-on sweatshirt today. And to my right here is Brother Tyrone Turner. Brother Ty, another lifelong friend, amazing person who's also a donor. And the recipient of his kidney is a fraternity brother, Eric Harris, who we both are really close to. So I'm excited to be here. We got a lot to talk about. Throughout this conversation, our goal is just to share you all's story, to make it real so people can see real faces of people who have received or even given life. And so we're gonna be authentic as possible. You all just sit back and relax, enjoy the conversation, and hopefully we inspire someone today. That sound all right? All right, and I am Means Cameron. Y'all know this, CEO of Black On Outerwear, Cincinnati visionary, Cincinnati Sun. I'm just here to tell the stories in a way that they last forever. So thank you again for being here. And so without further ado, I think we jump right in and talk about giving, because I think that's a big thing. Like, so Ty, I'm gonna start with you. You know, what is it or what was it that made you feel like donating life or giving a kidney or being willing to do something, I guess that intense, was something that you would be willing to do? Why was that important to you?
You know, when you meet people, people come in your life for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric was, at the time, he was still in college. I had a job, but I lived in his hometown. And just him being the man that he is at the time, and me being the person that I was, I'm like, I got this 20-year-old young man that needs something.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was in the same position as he was, I would hope that someone, that I'm in this network, this community of black men, of this fraternity that we call, that someone would be able to do that same thing for me outside of my own immediate family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really how all this kind of started. I remember when Eric came and knocked on the door at the house and said he had came back from the doctor and was like, he's like, you know, I'm actually gonna need a kidney. And you're like, you know, you say things, you say something. I was like, well, just let me know what we gotta do to go get this whole process started.
Wow.
He was like, oh, I'm serious. I was like, I'm serious. I need it. I was like, all right, just let you. And it wasn't something that I even had to think about. It came out so quickly. And that process started for really about 3 or 4 of us that went through that whole process of getting tested to figure out who was gonna end up being a match.
That's amazing, bro. Yeah, that's
So-
amazing. I get to see E live his life. I watched him raise his children, how active he is, and I know that that's largely because of what you did for him. If you remember back what you're talking about, E was a college student.
Yeah.
And he was a grad student.
And you were his roommate.
And I was his roommate. And so
Oh.
that's how me and E got connected. But before he was my roommate, he was my fraternity sponsor. And so when I got to Miami University, Eric came up to me probably my 5th day on campus, and he said, "You're gonna be an alpha." And I was like, okay, what's that? And you remember how I was when I got to college. I wasn't a college type of guy. I came right from the urban core. I was real rough around the edges. And fraternity was not something that I was even interested in, but his personality, his charisma, how he was just made you interested in who he was. So, and then after I became an alpha, we became roommates. And so I drove Eric to dialysis throughout a period of a year at 5:30 in the morning, driving him down to Middletown so he can go to dialysis. And at the time, you know, when you're 18 years old, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I was taking him somewhere that he needed to be. And when he would come out, he would be often drained and tired and he would want to sleep all day. But in retrospect, I mean, I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to be a part of that. So thank you for sharing that.
No doubt.
And I appreciate you saving Brother E's life. I'm gonna come over here to my left. Shane, I'm gonna ask you the same question. When was it that you realized that you were willing to donate an organ, to give a part of you to someone else so that they can continue living life?
So I got introduced to Coach Gary back in 2018. A cohort of mine were both military veterans. I told him I was about 302, 303 pounds. And I told him, I said, man, I need to, work out. And I knew he was a boxing coach, Coach Mike Page. He says, man, I don't have the availability. He said, but I know a guy, Coach Gary. And so long story short, he got me connected with Coach Gary. And first day I went over there and met him. And I told him, I said, man, it's obvious you see what I'm looking like. Number two, I have anger issues, from being in the Marine Corps, injured in combat and things of the sort like that. And so he's like, oh, okay, fine, no, just be here tomorrow. And so then,
like Coach Gary to me.
Yes, and so we developed a quick rapport. And then one day, I believe it was back in, matter of fact, it was 2023, he shared with me about his kidney issue. He was sharing with me that how others were not working out to be a donor. Went home, prayed about it, fasted about it, and then one morning I woke up, I prayed, and I was like, should I? And it was like the Holy Spirit said, why not? So I called him and said, hey man, what I got to do? And so he's like, what? And so we shot out the information, we'll go through the entire process. And they told me that I still need to lose about 20 pounds. So at this time, I still about 270, 275. And no, actually I was about 265. And they told me that I need to be below 250, and Coach got me down to 239. And I felt like,
so he kind of was saving your life and
Yes.
working
Yeah.
your
Yes.
life and molding your
Yes.
life as you was preparing to save his.
It was a dual working relationship.
Wow.
And so, and then after the donation, I believe it was January 3rd of 2024, someone asked me, said, why did you really donate? I said, number one, Coach Gary been pouring into the youth for like 30, 35 years at least. And you take somebody, who poured himself into the children, try to save the children. And I said, in the Black community, Black men in the city were quick to take a life. So why not challenge that narrative and put in a position to where we're going to save a life? And so then that's where we went from there, and it created a whole complete different bond from that right there. The following morning, people came into our room, his family, because we was in the room right next to each other over at Christ, and so his family came over and was like, yeah, you gained another brother, the sister, the whole 9 yards, and it's been like a brother that I haven't had.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Yes.
So these stories are really, they're real, they're
Yes.
authentic.
Yes.
Let me ask you this though, once you made that decision, I'm pretty sure there's still some thoughts going through your head. And I'm asking this question because there's somebody out there at some point who may want to give life, but there's going to be that doubt about if they're going to live or if it's going to complicate them. So tell me, what was your biggest fear between the day that you decided you was going to give Coach Gary a kidney and the actual day where it came time for you to do it? Like between that time, what was in your mind? What was going through your mind?
It had nothing to do with Coach Gary, nothing about the process. It's about how much time I was going to have to take off from work. I don't like calling in work. I don't like taking off sick and anything of the sort. And I kept asking the surgeon. And another thing about the surgeon, I had a surgeon that looked just like me.
Okay.
All right. It was African American. And a matter of fact,
do you feel like that? I'm sorry to stop, but you feel like that was important
Oh, yes.
for your process?
Yes.
Having
Because
someone in there that looks like you.
yes.
You felt protected.
Yes, and he addressed possible fears. He said, He said, you're gonna have a period of recuperation. He said, you're gonna need to cut back on your physical activity for about 3 to 5 months. He said, once you've been completely cleared, he said, you'll go back living the same life. There's nothing that's gonna stop you. He said, if you every now and then like to have a nice glass of wine or a nice cognac. And he said, you just have to do it 1-to-1. He said, whatever one drink, you need to drink 1 bottle of water. He said, you're not gonna stop nothing. He said, the key thing is also making sure that you cut back on processed foods, high sodium foods and things of the sort, because, your body obviously basically works off of 1 kidney, even when you have 2. He said, but, you want to make sure once the kidney donation is given that your good kidney stays functioning without no issues. Drink a lot of water, continue exercising. But my main thing was about how much time was I gonna have to take off from work.
You sound like me, man. We
Man.
too tied to our work.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But,
And that's the main thing for me.
Look at you here now.
Yes, sir.
Everything worked out, and looking at both of you right now. What was yours? What was in your mind?
It's funny.
I decided to do this.
It's funny he said that because I thought about that too. Because they said, like, your recovery time was at that time. He said, like, you're gonna need to probably take about a month off of work. But the biggest thing is when they tell you that you're okay to donate, they say there's a chance that even though all the testing that says you're clear, when they put that kidney in them, they know almost immediately if it's gonna work.
Yes.
They said there is still the opportunity of all the tests that you do and like that you've done all the stuff that says that all the markers that you hit, that once we put this in him, there's still a possibility that still may not take, and they got to go through this whole process again. So that part's in the back of your head, like what if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
So, and that's the part that there's that small chance. And so we keep talking about, giving life and, the donating life. And I'm sure you probably had a band. I still have my band somewhere, I think in a box, the little green.
Yes.
Donate life. And on one side, it put it in Spanish, Donate Vida. So, but that was the biggest thing, the work and if that is just actually going to take.
Yeah.
So
I never knew that.
No.
I actually thought that once they decided that you were fit, that everything was a go. I didn't know that there was still a small chance. And so thank you for sharing that piece. We haven't spoke to Coach Gary yet, but I'm interested to know, what was going through your mind, other than, well, I'll let you answer. What was going through your mind the moment you found out, the moment that your doctor said, Gary, you're gonna need a transplant, you're gonna need an organ? What's going through your mind? What's the first thing that you thought about?
That's the end. It's because I never knew nobody, for giving a kidney to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So then my kidney doctor, he said, don't worry about it, you're gonna live. He said, what you need to do, if you know anybody, you know what I'm saying, see, because somebody donate a kidney. But I didn't know how to approach a person by can I get a kidney? I don't know how to approach a person, you feel me? So I didn't know what to say to a person about a kidney. So I just kept it to myself. And a lot of people didn't know I needed a kidney because I'm not the type of person to let everybody know I need a kidney. I don't want the sympathy. Treat me the same way you've been treating me. Because if you treat me with the softness like that, you know what I'm saying? It's make me soft, because you treat me like I'm bad. Sad, whatever, you know what I mean? So I said,
You needed strength.
yeah, so I said, no. So I just kept on doing what I'm doing. Then I kept going to the hospital. Then next I started getting sick, staying in the hospital, getting sick, staying in the hospital for days and days. And then it come to a time, I kept going to the hospital. I just gave up on life.
Yep.
I said, I can't do it no more. You know what I'm saying? So Shane was in the hospital one day. I was in there. He said, what's your blood type? So I said, it's O. He says, my blood type O. I was like, he said, you want me to go get tested? I say, if you can't do it, man, it's cool. I deal with it. I've been dealing with Mary since 2017. So he's like, no, I'm gonna do it. So he did it. Long story short, he went and got tested, everything was good, did the blood work and everything. So I'm like, it gave me hope. I've been, you know what I'm saying? Then the kids, they come visit me, you know what I'm saying? Tell me, you tell us to fight, you got to fight. You know what I'm saying? So that registered in my head, steady giving up on life, that motivate me. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I ain't giving up. I got to practice what I preach. So they all like give me hugs, you know what I'm saying? So that like prepped me up. Then Shane went to all the tests. I went up to the hospital with him every time he went up there. So next thing you know, doctor said everything good. And I said, cool. So he wanted to give it to me during Christmas for a Christmas present. But the doctor was on vacation. They said we can't do it then, so we say we'll do it January the 9th. I said, cool. I said, I was, you know what I'm saying? I was just so happy.
Your blood was flowing.
Man, it was like, you know what I'm saying? I was so happy.
The opportunity for life, right? If you had thought it was over, now it's like, look at
yeah, because it used to be a time that I used to do the PD. I didn't go to the dialysis, what I did at home. And I used to have like a lot of solution in my stomach, like baby, a lot of solution. So every time I fly, I had to have my medicine shipped wherever I was going. And I had to carry the machine with me, and like machine was like heavy. So my coach, other coaches, they like, man, I care for you. They be like, oh man, I don't see how you carry this heavy thing. And anyway, so when he got tested and everything went good, and then I was like, oh, then day was coming closer to January 9th for us to do it. I was getting nervous because I had a friend, he like real close to me, like a brother. He came to me, he said, man, I'm finna go up there. They got a kidney for me. He said, sell these tickets for me. I said, okay, I got you. I gave him a hug. He went up to Christ. Next you know, I got a phone call. He passed away. And that put fear in me for like going to get the kidney out. But Christ, it feared me for years. I mean, literally, I was scared to go up there and get a kidney because it happened to my friend.
You're a strong person because throughout this entire time I've been here and I've got to see you go through this process. And you say you gave up. I think I remember that period.
Yeah, it's like hospital. I got tired of going to the hospital. I'm like, I can't do it no more. I can't do it. I told my family, I can't do it no more.
And you ain't had that bounce that Coach Gary is known for at that time. Like,
right, I didn't have to stride, you know what I'm saying? Until the kids came to me and said, you got to fight. You tell us to fight, Coach, so you got to fight.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when they told me that it put like a boost in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then I started getting up doing things, you know what I'm saying, that I wasn't doing. I was just laying there.
Yeah, I used to ask you, like, did you find somebody how's it going? And you were like, it's this. I ain't really too much worried about it. And I would call you and we would talk and it would be brief and you would say, yeah, man, I'm somebody is, it's gonna come around or somebody, you know, so it'll eventually happen. But you kind of sound like you was just pushing it off. You weren't really taking it serious for a long time.
Right.
And it wasn't until I heard about Shane that you started getting excited. You like, yeah, my guy, he said he's gonna give me a kidney, and we got excited. I came to your birthday party, I think a little before you received the kidney.
Right.
And we was talking about it, and there I think was when you was trying to contain your excitement because you felt like you was getting a kidney, but it also had been a long process.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, like this whole process has been eye-opening for me because I've seen it during this period with Ty, but I was so much younger. And I don't think I understood the value of life at that time as a young man, but now as a man with my own family and my own experiences, it makes it so much different because I know you have children. I know, you know, your life is valued and you have all of these children too, all the kids in the gym, and you're a father figure to so many of them. So now that you've received the kidney, talk to me about legacy. You know, like now that you've received the kidney and your life is going on, how do you feel this is impacting your legacy? And
a whole lot, man. I mean, I do things I couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of the kids, you know, I used to hold the mitts with them, all that. I couldn't do it. Now, they like, man, you back, Coach, you back. I mean, it's like, I'm just overjoyed, you know what I'm saying? And every day I thank this man, every day. Whatever he need me to do, I'm there. I dropped everything,
Yep.
everything. Cause if it weren't from him, I wouldn't be here today. So I thank him every day and God every day,
Yep.
every day. And excuse me. And it's just like, I'm just happy, man. I wake up happy.
Do you feel like, a lot of people when they're going through life, I think it's hard to really be happy sometimes and hard to really see the value of life. How did you view life before you received the kidney and now after receiving the kidney? Does life have more value to you?
Now it does. Back then, you know what I'm saying? Like before I received the kidney, I was on just like give up life. You know what I'm saying? Cause I came to that point a couple of times. But now that I got life, it's like no limit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
No limit.
No limit. I love that for you, Coach G.
Yeah.
Shane, tell me what you feel like this process has done to your legacy.
I know what it's like to take. I don't know I didn't know what it was really like to give for a long period of time.
You didn't know what it was like to give.
Correct. Yeah, I know what it's
Wow.
like to take. I started hustling when I was 12. I graduated high school with a 1.2 GPA because I didn't know how to read. I didn't learn how to read and write until I went to college. Out of high school, I went straight to Marine Corps to stop going to DYS because it robbed a high school. And so I thought by going to the Marine Corps that I would build that legacy.
Yep.
A tiger never changes stripes. And so I started hustling while I was in the Marine Corps. After the grenade injury, I got out the Marine Corps and I was like, okay, something has to change. I figured by going to college that, I'm gonna be good, right? And so after 2 years of physical rehab, went to UC, met as a walk-on to the UC football squad, and I quit and I played 2 years of semi-pro. But as I said, that tiger never changed his stripes. So when I was at UC, I was still hustling. I said, okay, well, I wanna join. I'm gonna be around some positive brothers because I get around some positive brothers, then I'm gonna change my behavior. But once again, that tiger never changed his stripes. I went through the process to become a brother Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, Alpha Alpha Chapter University, Cincinnati.
Shout out to the bros.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And so a couple weeks after that, I was right back to hustling anyway. I was blessed to graduate. And it seemed like the more I became educated, the worse I became. I was hired as a social vice president at a local bank, and I was using my office to move my money and product through. Long story short, since I knew the banking routes and all that, I started knocking off armored trucks and banks. And so I got a federal indictment where I pled guilty to one bank and one armored truck. And I was like, okay, I gotta stop now. I gotta learn how to give back. And I was released from prison October 24th of 2009. And I said, prison was never nothing physically scary for me. It was the fact that I disliked the fact somebody had control over me. I had to ask permission to go to the bathroom, go do this, whatever the case may be. And so got into school, was blessed to earn a second bachelor's and a master's. And a couple years after, about 4 years after I graduated, that's when I started going to the gym. And, at first I was like, man, Coach Gary's mean as, oh, God knows what. Screaming and hollering at these kids, and then these kids run up to him after training. Love you, Coach Gary. Love you, Coach Gary. I was like, man, who? Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna tell somebody I love them, and you screaming and hollering, cussing me out. But discipline, the discipline
right?
and love they have for them. And he told me, he said, Shane, trust me. He said, these kids they'll work hard not to disappoint me. He said, because how I pour into them. I was like, wow. And then the situation come about being able to donate to him. And I told myself, and I shared my wife, and I said, dear, when it came down to finalizing the decision, I said, I can truly learn how to give back, because, taking, taking money out of families' homes, for them to buy a product and the whole 9 yards, taking lives from people that get, hooked on it, messed up and the whole nine. And I was like, why not? And I said, because you got a man that's been given to the community for so many years to save other kids. Now he's in a position, why not pay back?
Absolutely. I even think it's interesting, organ donation is a special kind of giving because when I think about how we usually give, let's say I give somebody $100 today, they're happy, right? And they go off and they live their life, they spend $100 and they forget that you gave them that $100. But giving someone an organ, every day they wake up, you can see that what you gave them is activated. It's actually still giving. It's the true meaning of the gift that keeps on giving. And so I think this is a special kind of giving, and that you can actually see it versus giving someone money. And so your legacy, I guess, what is that now that you feel like I'm now a person that gives rather than takes? I hear that. I love that for your legacy. What else is in your legacy?
You know, as you said, like far as work on a legacy for your sons, for your children, and all the stuff there. God has blessed me to have 2 grandsons. You know, 6 and 2. So if I want them to learn how to give, I have to show myself to be that of a giver, a cheerful giver. You know, when you sit back and we look at how many setbacks we've had throughout life, you know, we all have calculators on our phones. How many times have you received and never given back? Can you calculate that? And so I didn't look at it as, not as a means like, okay, I can balance the scales by giving this kidney. No, because how many chances God give me? You know, he ain't give me no second or third, it's just yet another chance to say, you know what, why not give without question to somebody who's been given for so many years? I count it as a blessing to be able to give. And also to show other, you know, black men, like, hey, there's nothing to be scared of because I haven't changed nothing, you know, about how I go about my daily living since I given the kidney. I mean, there's a lot of myths, as we was talking previously, about, you know, they're going to steal something from me. If I had organ donor marked on my license plate, and I mean on my driver's license, and if they feel like my organ's going to be beneficial to someone else, they're going to, you know, they're not going to try to continue on my life. They're going to take and give it to somebody else.
Yeah, that's one that I've struggled with.
Yes.
They always ask, you want to put organ donation on your ID? And I'm absolutely not.
Right.
And because I grew up, my mom and my grandma would always tell me, don't put that on your license. Them people will take your organs. You young, you healthy, and if you were to die today, they would take your organs. And then in a previous session that I did with Network for Hope, they actually gave me some information, and I felt my whole body just relax by knowing this, because I knew that I would be giving, one, good information to my people. That's my number one priority, is to give people that grew up like me valid information. And that's the hardest part, is that we get bad information. And so we can't make solid decisions. And one of the things that I got from Network from Hope, is that most people can't even donate an organ.
No.
And most people, when they die, their organs aren't in shape. They have
shape.
to die a certain way. And so that was a myth, and I didn't know that. So I thought anybody die, the organs are for the taking. It's not that simple. They have to be tested multiple times, as you all were tested. The death has to happen a certain way, but there's a process to that. So it's not as simple as you pass away and somebody has the opportunity to take your organs. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Of all of this, what is one thing that you want the community to know about organ donation? What is one thing you want young people to know about organ donation and the impact that it can have?
First thing the young people need to know is that health is wealth. Like, health is wealth. Like, you only get one life, and that's yours. You got to take care of it. And how long that you are going to be on this earth is really completely up to you. Like, I'm blessed that I'm 47 years old, and I have very minor health things. I got some high blood pressure that I know I got to control and make sure I get this weight down and keep it down. But if I'm passing on those jewels to the young people, is take care of your body, take care of your mind, make sure you read books, stay, like I said, to this new generation. And I know they're all in it. Just limit as much social media as you possibly can, because it's just like, and it's absolutely necessary. It's absolutely necessary. But just limit what you put into your mind. Limit the junk that you put into your mouth. Eat real food. Drink water. Just take care of you. Make yourself happy, because if you put poison and junk in your body, you're not gonna be here very long. I don't know.
Or you'll need a donation.
And again, I said where you need a donation, people have to always realize that sometimes needing a donation isn't because of what you did in your past. Like, those things just happen sometimes, but said, you get one life, you got your body, take care of it from the time that you can start maintaining your body on your own. Because when you're young that age, you're dependent on somebody helping you with that. But when you get to be about that 16, 17, 18, you know what you're putting in your body. Take care of it.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. All right. Come over here to you, Coach Gary, because you know what? I'm gonna save you for last because you're the recipient. Shane, what do you want young people to know about donation specifically, organ donation specifically, and the impact of it? What would you say would be the most important thing you want to share as a final thought?
Go with education. Don't go by conversation. You know, we have a tendency with a microwave mentality. You know, give me information now. So that means you depend upon somebody else's word. That, you know, don't donate because you know, you can wind up have more of an ailment than the person you're donating to. Get out, go to the doctor and find out for yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, we like I said, we have a tendency, or young people have a tendency to go to Google, or they go to ask Siri or Alexa all these information. But okay, fine, let me go sit down and talk with a medical professional to see the pros and cons of donating. Mm-hmm. You know, yet also during that process, being able to put yourself in the position to donate, you can learn more about yourself. Ask young people, what's your PSA levels? Okay, what is your A1C? What is your blood pressure? That type of information. Oh, I don't know. But yet, if you ask them who won the Grammys last year, or who got the most records sold, who's the highest paid athlete, they give you that information, but something important about themselves. So when it comes to donating for organ donation for younger populations, sit down and learn about who you are. Sit down with a medical professional.
Mm-hmm. I love that you said that, and I think I'll say this briefly, is that a lot of the times it's about who's delivering the information.
True.
Which is why today is important, because we're delivering the information, and now someone will be more likely to listen than just seeing an ad on TV or hearing it on the radio. Yes. Hey, we want your organs, or donate life even. You know, that could be a scary term. So yeah, you said go on education, not conversation. I love that. Fact check everything. I'm guilty. I've gone years of just having this idea of what organ donation was, never doing any real research. But I always thought I gotta make sure I don't put that on my license if I want to stay alive. So education is important. Coach Gary, last but not least, the only donor recipient sitting up here with us today. What would you say in your closing thoughts or your final thought here today on why organ donation is important, or what do you want the youth to know about organ donation?
See, me, I tell them, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you only need one kidney to live. God gave you 2 kidneys so you can save a life. You know what I'm saying? That's when I talk to my cousin, he's a pastor, we have the conversation. He's like, you know what I'm saying? He give you 2 kidneys so you could donate and help somebody, save somebody else's life.
Wow.
So that's why I would tell them, like, you know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid. You only need one to live. So by you helping somebody out, getting a kidney, you saving somebody's life. That's why God gave you 2 kidneys to save a life. You know what I'm saying?
That's major. I never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna use that going forward.
Yeah, so.
I appreciate that. Well, God forbid, I guess the only person up here that got a kidney to give at this point is me. God forbid I have to, but I think this process is opening up my mind and my heart to being willing to do something like this if necessary. And I think that's what we're gonna do by sharing this conversation. I think there was a lot that we intended to cover, but it was an organic conversation, authentic conversation. I appreciate all of you being heartfelt. Yep, a little emotional here and there. You asked the right questions, bro, Shane. Next time you're gonna sit here. And but I appreciate. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to come up here and sit and tell your story, because it's one thing to receive, it's a whole nother thing to be willing to talk about it and share it, because some people may be embarrassed or don't want to talk about it. But
you said a lot right there. As Black men, we don't like to ask for things. We don't like to go to the doctor. There's no shame if you go to the doctor and they tell you that you need a transplant of some sort. ask your friends, ask your family, because that list, that transplant list, without knowing someone, is long. It's long.
Long. Because I was at the time, me being the street guy, I'm like, man, I ain't going to the hospital. I don't want to know what's wrong with me. If I go to the hospital and know what's wrong with me, it's going to worry me to death more than anything. So I said, no, if anything happen to me, just let me just die. You know what I'm saying? But
We got to change that mentality.
But it's changed, though. That's what I'm saying. That's how I found out about my kidney situation. It changed. I went to the hospital for one thing, and found out I had this. And it changed my whole life perspective, them in 360 in life. You know what I'm saying? How I feel about going to the doctor.
Yeah, man. I think the number one thing we want the youth to know in closing is that, you know, your health is important before you get a diagnosis. And so the best thing we could do is continue to share our stories and information and hope that we have impact going forward. But it sounds like health is something that we just need to be more aware of. We need to care for it more. It need to be more of a conversation when we kicking it as a family. We talk about a lot of things in Black families. Health typically isn't one of them.
Correct.
Nope.
And so
Correct.
we gotta figure out how to make this the thing. And it's not that it's gonna ever be a cool thing, but it's gonna be an important thing and valued thing. And so thank you all very much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna meet over and talk over that one glass of wine that you can have next time.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy ourselves in a different way. But today we wanted to share valuable information. I wanna say thank you to our partners who made this happen, Network for Hope. I mean, they are the mindset behind this program and filming us today. I've just been a person to think about how do I make it meaningful to my community, but they've been totally open in all of my switches and my comments about how do we make this meaningful to the people that are watching Black Owned. And so I think today we did our job, and so we should leave here feeling proud. So thank you again, bro. Ty,
I want to say one more thing.
You can say whatever you want, Coach
To
G.
my brother here,
And thank you for
you say you
coming.
need to get the weight off, you're more than welcome to come.
Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate
I
you.
help you get it off.
You take it off.
Yeah.
He helped me. He helped Shane.
Yes.
Like I
It's
say,
gonna be painful.
He's done kept me consistently
have to save a
under.
life. That's what I'm about.
sir.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're more than welcome to come. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hard, but you'll get through it.
No doubt.
You'll thank me later.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Give me a reason to come back and be more consistent. We'll work out together.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, man. Y'all go home and enjoy your families.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Thank you.